69% of Americans have less than $1,000 saved up in their savings right now. And get this, over 50% of Americans, if an emergency costing them $500 were to go off right now, well, they simply would not be able to cover it. Now, if that doesn't have your attention, then I don't know what does. Because whether you're 18 years old, 25, 37, 58, or heading into retirement, one way or another, we're all looking for another way to save an extra buck. Whether you're looking to save up to purchase a house, whether you're looking to get out of debt, whether you're looking to add more money to your portfolio, all of us are looking to add more money into our savings account, and not only that, have it work for us. So in today's video, I'm gonna share with you 8 different ways to help you save more money faster. It doesn't matter if you have a minimum wage job, it doesn't matter if you earn 80 grand a year, it doesn't even matter if you have your own business or side hustle. Everything that I'm about to share with you today is going to be applicable to your situation. And let's just go ahead and jump right into the first one, and that's this. Cut your costs. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It's just me and you right now. Between the apartment that you're renting or the house that you're living in right now, if you happen to own a house, there's probably too many bedrooms that you maybe don't even need. Or maybe cutting your costs is there's a pack of chicken right now in your fridge, or an extra pack of bread that you picked up that you haven't consumed yet. You see, one of the fastest depreciating items that we own is food. It's just, you buy it and it's gone. Kind of like when you pump gas and you're looking at the meter and you're wondering, okay, I just filled up my gas tank, 35, 40 bucks. If you drive a V8, then you're maybe in the 60, 70 threshold, depending on what the price of gas is. Where you live right now, you start to wonder, okay, do I need to use this much money for this specific item? One of the items that I see so many people spending money on, and hey, I've been victim to that as well, is you have way too much space in the area that you live right now. The apartment that you have, it would have been suffice to go with a 2-bedroom, but you decided to go with a 3rd bedroom because you wanted to maybe impress someone. So how about you call a couple buddies over and maybe rent out one of the rooms, or how about you use Airbnb to rent out maybe one of the homes or one of the units that you're no longer using yourself? Or what about when you go grocery shopping? How tight are you being with your budget? I can't tell you how much money is spent every year by Americans by either they are over shopping when they go out to eat, or when they go out to shop for groceries, or there is a pack of frozen chicken right now that you were supposed to cook yesterday, but well, you decided to go out to eat and it wasn't even within your budget. It was just kind of a spear of the moment kind of thing. I know we've all had those. I get it. I'm with you. But nothing is going to cost you more money than those surprise hiccups when you are dishing out extra cash that should really be headed into your savings, and that on the other side of that should really be going into your investments. Especially if you're an entrepreneur, ask yourself, when I'm going out to eat, am I talking about business? Is this going to help me get to the next level with what I'm working on right now with my projects? Is this just to maybe kill some time because I'm bored at home? I can tell you right now, there is nothing more expensive than boredom when it comes to you dishing out and spending more money. This cup of coffee that I'm having right now, is the conversation or the person that I'm going to meet with, is it really worth my time? And is it really worth these extra 4, 6, 7 bucks? Especially if you pick up their tab on the back end. Now, this sounds like a little bit of hard love, but I think we all need this from time to time when it comes to us putting more money into our pockets rather than just spending it in needless activities that we shouldn't be involved with anyways. And ask yourself this, when you go out grocery shopping, can you go with less food in your shopping cart? And can you transition from it having to be brand to maybe transitioning into generic? I can assure you 90% of the products in your cart whenever you're shopping are virtually the same if you just give it a try. You're not only going to save more money on the back end, but you're also going to end up consuming more of it because you're putting less in your cart altogether. Remember, that's one of the fastest depreciating items that we need to survive, but again, ends up getting thrown out altogether a little far too much than often. The next thing that you want to watch out for is your saving and your checking. Here's what I mean by that. Automate your savings. Whenever you have a direct deposit come in, or if you're a business owner, whenever you have a transaction go off and maybe $1,000 comes in, or if you're working hourly, every quarter or every 2 weeks or every month, however you get paid, make sure that you have 2 separate accounts. You have your checking where all the money comes into, and then you have a separate savings where you can streamline some of that money into. Here's an example of that. Let's say I have $1,000 come in every week into my checking account. I let my banker, or I let the bank teller know, hey, when this money comes in, can you please forward, let's say 30% of that income that comes in, any direct deposit that comes in, into this savings account? Have you ever heard the saying, out of sight, out of mind? Well, yeah, this is kind of like that right now. As a matter of fact, this is like that right now. Because now every time money comes in, you don't have to think, okay, do I really need to separate this money right now? Or can I maybe postpone this for the next time, and then the next time comes around and then you're having the same thought of, should I save this, or can I just get away with it and use this money altogether for something that I really want? We've all had those thoughts, even myself. And so if you and I are battling with those thoughts, one of the best ways that we can combat that thought is just putting that money away, having it streamlined. Maybe have 3 different accounts, one for your expenses, one for your checking, and one for your savings. Again, this is so easy to set up. You can let your bank, you can let your bank teller know, hey, whenever an amount of money comes in, just go ahead and streamline 30%. If you want to do 50% into your savings, you can go ahead and do that. 40% into my expenses column, and then whatever's left over in the checking, at that point, you can do whatever you want with that money, even if it means buying an overpriced coffee at Starbucks, or maybe just having dinner with a couple of friends, because you've been diligent enough with your money to transition, or really to position yourself to transition it to where it needs to be. Now, you've probably heard of this next one, but it is worth mentioning, and that's the envelope system. And if you haven't heard of it, well, this is how it works. The envelope system is a simple yet effective system that's going to help you save the money that you have coming in, and it's going to give your money an assignment. Because if you don't give your money an assignment, then it's just going to run wild like a horse without a saddle. Here's how this works. Let's say you have 5 different envelopes. One is for gas, one is for food, one is for utilities, one is for rent, and then one is for leisure. Anything that you want to spend that on, whether it's going on a vacation, buying yourself maybe some clothing, maybe you want to go to a concert that you've been waiting to go to, whatever that is, right? You have, again, let's work with $1,000. You have $1,000 come in. You have $200 goes toward utilities. You have $800 goes, or $600 goes toward rent. You have $50 goes toward gas. However you want to situate that, right? What ends up happening is when you have the envelopes in front of you, that is the only cash that you will be playing around with in order to not only pay your bills, but also put more money into your pocket on the back end. Because again, you've learned how to give your money a job, and if your money doesn't have that job, then it's not going to be doing anything else. Again, if you don't give your money a place to go, it's going to go wherever it wants. So remember that whenever you're dealing with money, that money, if you don't give it its own agenda, it's going to have its own mind. When we have, let's say, the envelope system in place, once those funds have been used, you start to notice, okay, I have a little bit more money left over. Or you start to notice, I think that this envelope, I think I can go without having to pay so much in utilities. Or I think I can go without having to pay so much in gas. Or you notice, wait a minute, I ended up saving some money on gas because gas went down, or I travel less. So what you do is you just keep adding more money into that envelope. So let's say if you do want to go on a road trip, you've already stashed up, let's say $80 in that gas envelope that you wouldn't have done otherwise, rather than saying, okay, when's the last time I spent this much on food? Or when's the last time I spent this much on maybe buying books to invest in myself? And what ends up happening is, again, you've streamlined, kind of like what you have if you wanted to use the other method of maybe streamlining your checking and your savings. Well, this way you're keeping it in front of you, especially if you're more of a visual person. And one last tip on that, let's say that you're pulling from the leisure envelope and you have $100 in there, and there's an item that you absolutely want that's, let's say, $20 more, so let's say it's $120, and you don't have the funds for it. Well, guess what? This is where discipline comes into play, because now you're gonna have to say, well, you know what? I probably won't be able to get that item this week. I'm gonna have to save more money next week. And that helps you cure that emotional spending that we tend to fall into, especially that companies like to use against us. Again, if we're looking at it from a consumer standpoint, of a fear of missing out, FOMO sales tactic, where they say one item left or this sale just for this weekend. It cures that altogether, and it makes you a more efficient, effective, and strategic shopper when it comes to using your money the right way. Let's talk about some more important and bigger ticket items, kind of like our car insurance, our health insurance, or maybe our utilities, possibly our car payments. That's important, right? Well, have you ever thought and sat down to wonder, if I pay this car payment off, I'm going to be saving way more money on the back end, because now I'm saving on the fees that comes with it. I'm saving on the high interest that I probably got on this car anyways, because maybe my credit wasn't as good. And well, if I'm saving $400 from having to dish out into this car, if I just pay this car off completely, I now don't have to spend $400 every month on this car. And so one of the fastest ways that you can save money, which most people don't consider, which you probably should, is, well, let me just start tacking on this debt, or start really ripping through this debt a lot faster when it comes to my car payments. Or maybe, just maybe, you have a car insurance, and maybe now you went from 25 to 26 years old, or maybe you're no longer with your parents, and the type of insurance that they had was maybe costing you a little bit more money than what you can get on your own. Maybe you have a better driving record. Maybe you've never been in an accident. Maybe you've never actually shopped around for another car insurance plan. Maybe you moved into another zip code that, well, in that zip code they have more better specials and really more competition for the insurance company. So now you can kind of shop them and bid them against each other. This is what I would do. I would call right now. I would pause the video, or I would finish watching it, whatever you want to do, and I would look through my recurring payments. How much is my car insurance? How much am I paying for my car every month? What's my credit cards like? Can I call my credit cards right now? Can I shop around? Can I let them know, hey, look, I have been with you guys for 4 years. I've been with you guys for 3 years. I would like to lower my interest, because you can do that. Most people don't even know that you can lower your interest rates, or at least give them a call and reduce the amount of money that you have to dish out to them every month. Now, do I recommend coming out of debt as fast as possible? Absolutely. But if for whatever reason you wanted to, let's say, pay less money to the credit card company, which I don't recommend that you do, I recommend that you come out of that. But if you insist on keeping that credit card, you would go ahead and pay less on this side, let's say reducing this amount of money or this amount of payment from $70 a month down to $35. And now the extra $35 that I have here, I can go use that money toward maybe investing it in some type of IRA. I can use that money maybe investing it into saving for a house. I can use the additional $35 to pay for my car faster. Start playing around with your finances, and that's another way for you to get strategic with paying down some of your debt that's recurring, that you're maybe paying a little bit too much money on anyways. This next one's important to me, and I hope that it's important to you as well, because it's one that I had to face a while back, and that's this. Am I saving with a plan? And so now I ask you, are you saving with a plan? Are you saving to buy a house? Are you saving to pay off your car faster? Are you saving to put your kids through college? Are you saving so that you won't have to pay for college yourself? Are you maybe picking up 2 jobs, saving some cash so that you can buy your first rental property, your first primary property? What's the plan behind you wanting to save so much money? I can assure you that if you have a plan of why you're saving, then your savings plan is going to be a lot more targeted, and you are going to work toward it with significantly more effort than you would right now. Look, there's no shame in you sitting down and writing down, okay, right now I have $1,000 to my name and I want to buy my first house, and I know that it's going to take at least $8,000 for me to get into the first property that I want to purchase and own. So now that you know, okay, there's a $7,000 gap there, you've applied the first couple of rules that I've given you to being able to manage your money significantly better and save it along the way. What can I do now? Again, this is part of your plan for saving. What can I do now that's going to put me within target a lot faster, rather than just saving $1 here, saving $1 there? Let's say you want to max out your Roth IRA and you have $6,000 in there, and right now you're at $2,000. What can I do to boost up before the year's over an additional $4,000? How many more sales do you need to have, again, if you're a business owner, in order for you to move out of the current space that you're in right now into something else that maybe you can purchase yourself? Which, again, you can set that target. That's all about setting the right targets with the right measures is what's going to allow you to hit them a lot quicker. So I say all of that to say this: don't just plan to save, but save with a plan, because when you save with the plan, you get to where you want to be in a much quicker manner. Now let's move on to this next one, high interest debt. You know what I'm talking about. You have that car payment that, yet again, like we mentioned earlier, keeps kind of lingering around. You have high interest debt that we mostly know about, and that's student loans. The average millennial has right around a $32,000 student loan the minute that they step out of college. And get this, it happens to be some of the highest interest that we'll pay compared to the average credit card. Well, yet again, we go to it. Can you call those companies and say, hey, look, let's work out a plan. What can I do right now to bring this interest down? Or hey, look, can we consolidate some of these loans into maybe one big package where I can just start knocking this down altogether? If you have a car, can I turn this car in, or can I trade it in? Can I get something else that's maybe costing me less money? Yes, it's probably not what I want to drive right now, but again, I have a savings plan that I'm looking to hit, and part of that target and part of the requirements is for me to lower the amount of interest that I have on my debt, because it's crushing the amount of money that goes into the principal. There's nothing worse than you sending $300 to a credit card company, to a student loan, to a car payment that you've been paying off for a couple of months, maybe even a couple of years now, and you're wondering, gosh, I sent $300 to only see the principal come down $50. If that does not upset you, I really don't know what does. That would throw me over the top. Write out a script if you have to. Maybe even Google different ways to approach a credit card company so that they can lower that interest rate that you're paying right now, because it's going to make you coming out of debt a lot slower, and you saving more money. It's going to also slow down that process. Again, the car that you have, is it something that you absolutely need, or is it just a big want? Can you trade it in for something else with a significantly lower payment, or can you find a way to pay it off quicker altogether? Those are things that I would be thinking about right now, especially if I'm looking to save more money. And last but not least, and I saved this one for last because if we don't hit the first 7 steps the right way, well, the 8th step doesn't really matter, because it's this: how can I improve, or how can I increase my income? When's the last time you asked yourself that? How can I increase my income? Why am I stuck at a job that pays me, let's say, $18 an hour? Why am I still working somewhere that I haven't seen a pay raise beyond $1 from the first couple of years that they hired me? Why am I stuck at $100,000 a year? Why haven't I been able to turn the 6-figure business into a 7-figure business? What's capping me out? Can I pick up a side hustle if you have a job? Can I pick up a side hustle? I'm making, let's say, $1,000 a week. Can I pick up a side hustle that's gonna make me an extra $200-300? Look, it's not gonna make me rich, but it is gonna help me speed up the process of getting out of debt and saving more money a lot faster. And the reason why we left this one for last is because if your debt is up here, there's really no point of having a higher income, because having a higher income is just gonna chip it down little by little. So that's why we left it for last, because once you start to really lower the amount of debt that you have, the high interest that you're paying, the type of debt that you have, because that's a whole different ballgame, the type of debt that you have, increasing the income is only going to do so much. So if, let's say you have the 7 in place that we mentioned earlier, if you bring this 8th one into place and you increase your income, yes, it's going to help speed this up. But once you've chopped that debt down, when you increase that income, assuming you've already knocked the majority of the debt, or you're pretty much down to 0 debt, that's how you're able to get past that $1,000 savings. That's how you're able to get yourself out of the statistic of 50% of Americans can barely pay a $500 emergency. I mean, let's think about that. A $500 emergency. A $500 emergency is your car breaking down. A $500 emergency is your kids calling you because they got sick. Now you're having to take them to the clinic, or now you're having to take them to the hospital. Especially if you don't have insurance, that's really going to cost you an arm and a leg. A $500 emergency is you maybe something breaking in your house, and now you need a new washer. Now you need a new dryer. Maybe pipe broken out. There's water gushing all over the place. These are things that we have to think about, and these are things that we have to plan for. So that's why I decided to leave that you should have some type of side hustle for last. Maybe increase your income by getting a new job altogether. Maybe picking a new career, maybe going after certifications or certificates that'll help you increase and maybe strengthen your resume, or just starting a business altogether. It doesn't matter if it's your own business. It doesn't matter if it's multi-level marketing. It doesn't matter if it's starting a YouTube channel, kind of like what I have here, just to supplement some extra income, maybe some type of affiliate marketing. Anything that would help a little bit of more money streaming. Every drop into the bucket fills up the bucket. Don't ever forget that. Every single drop that goes into the bucket eventually fills up the bucket. And there you have it. I hope that you enjoy these 8 different ways for you to increase the amount of money that you save in a lot faster time, because with things becoming more expensive and with life not seeming like it's going to slow down it's imperative that we work on these immediately. And so I wanted to make sure that you had this information in your hands, because I want to make sure that this reaches as many people as possible. Look, don't be ashamed to pick up a second job. Don't be ashamed to pick up a side hustle. It doesn't matter what they're saying, whether you're flipping couches online, or if you're having to, or if people are hearing you call these credit card companies negotiating your interest rate from a 20% even down to a 19%. They're saying, dude, that's not going to make a difference. Believe me, every penny counts when you enter into the savings game. And remember, when you save with the plan, it allows you to save toward a goal. And your goal should always be to invest in your future. And that's planning for retirement by investing in real estate, in stocks, if that's the route that you wanted to take, in your IRAs, in your index funds, the whole 9 yard, however you decide to use your money. And there you have it. I hope that you enjoy this content. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below if you found value in this content. Down, I will also put in the description the YouTube course that we are launching coming October 12th. It is on pre-sale right now. You'll be able to find a coupon code for that as well in the description. Don't forget that this video is sponsored by our friends over at Amazon's Audible, where you can pick up a free book just by being a part of this community and watching this video. And hit that little notification bell so they can be notified every time we have content like this dropping each and every single week. Once again, my name is Irvin Pena, also known as Herb Official. Until next time, everyone, we'll see ya.